Building blocks of impunity have become more apparent in the collapsed buildings which have claimed lives in the past week. So far, arrests have been made, but just who are some of the faces behind these structures which have caved under the rot of non-compliance and disregard for the law? Gina Kirori reveals more about these individuals and also reports on the effects left behind on the families who have lost their loved ones to these avoidable tragedies.
Little would be known about Joel Kamau Kibe if it wasn't for two monumental events that have taken place in a span of 5 years. The first being on February 2nd, 2017, when Gogi was accused of killing a security guard and injuring another after he crashed his car into a barrier. This amateur footage at a security check barrier in Gigiri shows a sluggish Ngogi defending himself beside the car he was driving, a Range Rover, registration number KBQ 959J. Later in court, Ngogi claimed that the barrier had been illegally erected there and that he had tried evading it after it had been lifted but coincidentally dropped. Ngogi denied the charges of causing death by dangerous driving and driving while under the influence before Milimani Principal Magistrate Benson Ziako and was released on a bond of 300,000 shillings or a cash bail of 100,000 shillings. The second incident came last week when this building in Kasarani collapsed and killed 3 people, including a woman who was selling vegetables just beside it. The owner of the building, Joel Ngogi, according to police and Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, who now say they are on a manhunt for him.
Now the contractor has been apprehended. He's going to be taken to court today. The owner is still being traced. We suspect the owner is out of the country, but they will be found. And the law must, must be followed.
It remains unknown how Ngogi, who is the former director of Cooper Motor Corporation, may have managed to escape the country despite being in the middle of a plethora of court cases.
The only part that we can play as a county to make sure that there's justice is to present a strong case.
On the morning the building in Kasarani collapsed, the building had been flagged for column failure. Just weeks before, on October 28th, a contractor was arrested and arraigned at Makadara Law Courts for non-compliance. But when it all circles back, the families left behind after their loved ones have passed on from such unavoidable deaths are the ones left gutted by their circumstances.
Hiyo siku venye nilipata hiyo maneno ilikuwa painful.
Patrick Karomo, who is the son of the elderly couple who perished after the 6-story building in Raka came crashing down on their home, which sits nearby, puts on a strong front. Just next to where his parents' home was, an excavator now sifts through the remains of the building which collapsed.
Ile system yao, the planning department ya Kiambu, mimi naweza sema hawajui vile wanafanya. Sababu uwezi tuma mtu ambaye ni layman to the building industry akuja asimame angalie nyumba aende.
Karomo's uncle says that they tried to warn the authorities several times that the building was substandard and riddled with problems. The family, however, says it has been kept in the dark about the progress of investigations and the arrests made. The couple who stood in union together until their final breaths will be laid to rest just across from where they lived and passed on.
Mnajaribu saa kujiuliza from here tunaendeleaje? Uliko mezoea mzazi ndiye anakuambia mnafaa kufanya this and that. Alafu all of a sudden hawako.
Even when the rubble is cleared from here, the painful memories will still linger for families here. But just how are some of these walls of death allowed to reach the approval stage? And when will the tragedy stop? These are just some of the questions the family lingers over as they prepare to lay their loved ones to rest next week. Gina Kirori, NTV.